Robert, I
Yep.
have a question for you.
Hmm.
It is in the style of continuing with our discussion of Alexander's procedures.
Hmm.
Uh, what about hands on the back of chairs? How do you use that if you do? What are the benefits? How do you think of doing that?
Boy, I that was one that took me a long time to get into it all. We certainly talked about it on our training course and did it. And I remember Betty Elizabeth Collins saying, this is Alexander reportedly said, this is kind of the key ingredient to being a good Alexander teacher, or something to that effect. He felt it was very important. Um, I guess we should backtrack a little and describe it first, though. What do you think?
Yeah, go ahead and describe it
Boy,
the best you can.
I'd prefer if you described it. And then,
Oh, you're getting out of that one.
I don't
Okay, I
like
will
to.
describe it.
Yeah, you
Yes, I will
describe it.
describe. So this is something that is done with a chair and your hands on the really over the back of the chair. If you're standing behind the chair, they're going to be over and on the backrest of the chair in a certain way. And it's either done standing or it can be done sitting. But when it's done standing, it's done a little bit of the monkey position, which we talked about
Right,
earlier.
right.
Uh, and it is a procedure that you wait to get your attention back generally to your use as you would with anything,
Hmm.
and you give yourself the directions, the neck free, head forward and up, back lengthen and widen, knees release forward, or whatever the direct shoulders broaden, whatever the particular directions are that you use for the technique as you're continuing to not jump into things and to watch that you're not preparing and adding tension and getting ready to do something. And then you put your hands on the chair in a way that bends at the metacarpal joint. That's that knuckle joint, and you keep your fingers straight from there down. And so on both hands, they're pointing on the front of the top back of the chair. If you can imagine, if someone were to lean back, they'd be sitting on your hands, but you'd be behind the chair, standing behind the chair. And then your thumbs go behind either the index finger or the next finger or somewhere in between. And so you're keeping your fingers straight, and you're almost in a way sort of pinching the chair. I don't know how to call it. There's a name for that kind of
A gentle pinch.
yeah. Well, yes, you're not pinching. You're not putting tension in any of this. And then you you are directing then your wrists in, your elbows out. So there is a contrasting direction there where your wrists are going in, your elbows are going out, all the while leaving your fingers easily pointing straight down. And you widen your back, and I think Alexander had a direction he called pull to the elbows, but you don't pull. You actually can, as you're widening your back, widening your elbows out to the sides and your wrists in, it gives you a very nice broadening of the back, a very nice feel of the feel experience, and an actual broadening of your back. And all the while you're doing any of these parts of the procedures, by watching that you're still releasing your neck, leaving your head free so it can go forward and up, letting your back lengthen and widen, your knees release forward. All the while you're observing your use, and uh, you're taking a moment to cancel, or as Alexander called it, to inhibit tightening, and you're making sure you continue to do that. So there you have it.
I think that's, I think that's mostly all we need for this conversation, except I think it cries out for a little YouTube video.
Oh,
Do you have one?
I'll make one.
Make one, and
I will make
we'll
one.
put it on the page, because it's kind of a visual thing to see. Um, I mean, it
It's very
certainly is kind.
useful for pianists, for bass
Oh yeah,
players. It's useful for anyone.
and I
So, working on
and
the
we
computer.
haven't. I mean, I'm not sure whether you mentioned the role of the thumb in all of this. When we learn this, and from my experience, it's a lot of it is about really having the opposability of the thumb to the other four fingers that, is, I'm sure we all remember the opposable thumb in fifth grade, right? What makes us special? Did you encounter the opposable thumb?
No, I don't think we were
Oh,
special where we
well,
were.
but no, you know what I'm talking about,
Yes, I
right? The
know.
human beings are special because we have an opposable thumb. But unfortunately, many of us have kind of let it atrophy, and there really isn't a lot of opposability. A lot of people have very odd ideas about how their fingers and their thumb functions. And it's a little off topic, but there's an area where body mapping can really come in handy, and we probably should talk about body mapping at some point. But anyway, a part of this whole thing, a reason for doing hands on back of chair is to, I guess you could say, restore that opposable thumb in us to a certain extent. So why don't we leave it at that? Okay?
Okay.